Hi, I'm James from Portainer, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can provision a Kubernetes cluster on Azure with AKS directly from within Portainer. For this guide, I'm assuming you have Portainer Business Edition installed and running, and you're logged in as an admin user. If you haven't got Portainer installed yet, have a look at our install guide or documentation for help. Links are in the video description. First off, you'll need to sign up for an account with Azure if you haven't already, which you can do at portal.azure.com. Once you've got your account created, log into the Azure portal, click Subscriptions and note down your subscription ID. Then click the menu in the top left and select Azure Active Directory. Then click App Registrations in the left-hand menu. Now select New Registration. Enter a name for your registration that makes sense to you and leave the other fields as they are. Click Register to create the registration. In the app page that appears, note down the application or client ID and the directory or tenant ID. Next, click on Certificates and Secrets in the left-hand menu. Click New Client Secret and enter a name for your secret. Select an expiry date for the secret and click Add. Copy the client secret value, you don't need the secret ID. We've got all the credentials we need, but now we need to set up permissions. Click the menu in the top left, then Resource Groups, and select your resource group. If you don't already have one, you can create a new one. Click on Access Control IAM in the left-hand menu. Next, click Add Role Assignment. We recommend selecting the contributor role, but if you want to specify the exact set of permissions, we have a list of the minimum needed in our documentation. Once you've chosen your permissions, click Next. Click Select Members, then search for the app you registered earlier. Click it, then click Select at the bottom of the page. Click Review and Assign, then Review and Assign again on the next page. Now switch back to Portainer. There's a couple of ways you can add your credentials to Portainer, either on your first provision or ahead of time via the cloud settings. Since we're going to do a provision, we'll add them while we do that. Just like adding any other environment to Portainer, click on Environments, then Add Environment. Select the CAS option, click Start Wizard, then select the Azure option. Since we haven't set up our credentials yet, we'll need to do that now. Enter a name for your credentials, then paste your subscription ID, tenant ID, client ID, and client secret into the fields, and click Add Credentials. You'll now see options to configure your new cluster. Select the region for your deployment, the resource group or create a new one, the name of your node pool, the size of each individual node and the number of nodes you need, the availability zones if applicable, the API server availability you need, the DNS name prefix, and finally the Kubernetes version to deploy. You can also define groups and tags for the environment under More Settings, or you can set those later. When you're ready, click Provision Environment to start your deployment. Portainer is now talking to the Azure API to spin up your cluster with your options. Depending on the size and number of nodes, this might take a bit of time. Once the provision is complete, Portainer will automatically deploy the agent to the environment and configure access. You can see the progress of the provision from the Environments page within Portainer. When the deployment finishes, you'll be able to select and manage your new Kubernetes environment just as you would any other environment in Portainer. And that's it. You're up and running with a brand new AKS Kubernetes cluster on Azure, all through Portainer. You'll find these instructions in text form in our documentation. Thanks for watching.